Hello, everyone. We are live. It's the C East Finals. I think everybody's been looking forward to this. A lot of people seem to think this is the most competitive division in NGS this year. B-Train, how you doing tonight? First time we've been together.
It is, and it's fantastic. I'm super stoked and super pumped. I originally didn't think we were going to get this game, but I'm glad it fell to us. Now we can show everybody what the B&B train is all about.
Exactly. I tell you what, I'm going to cut over. Let's look at the tournament here real quick and see how we got here. As everybody can see, this led up to tonight. The winner goes on to the grand finals. And they're going to have a hard time with Rush B. They looked really strong. Oh, we are going. As we see the maps here, we'll go straight into the draft. These teams want to get this thing going even about a minute and a half earlier than anticipated, but we're going for it now.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're going to see the bans coming through, and I want to talk about these before they kind of go all the way through. Diablo ban is purely targeted towards PJ, the tank for the Found Vikings, but if we're going to talk about target bans, there's a couple that I possibly think we'll see here. Junkrat's one of them. I think we'll see maybe Alex Straza banned or Tyrande banned. Both of these team support players are really good on those supports, so we could possibly see some continued banning, but they're actually going to let Alex go through for the Vikings should they so want it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give Sailor her patented Alex, but Cyan's actually pretty deadly on that Kael'thas also. And the Junkrat, that's a target ban towards Zul'Jin, I believe, because he does like the poke, like there's no tomorrow with Junkrat.
Oh, yeah, and there's the Tyrande ban. So the two targeted bans, the Junkrat for Zul'Jin and the Tyrande ban for the healer for Regen Red. And we're going to see Ana locked in first off the bat. So going to go ahead and snag that up, as we do have to remember Anduin has been banned through the rest of the NGS season. He's not playable, even though it's been more than 2 weeks. So you won't see him tonight or throughout the remainder of the season. So unfortunately, that's going to have to be the case.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the Ana pick's pretty solid here. The healing debuff is going to hurt that life binder that Alex really likes to put out there in turn fights. So that's a pretty good pick when you suspect you're going to get an Alex against you.
Yeah, and we see the Alex Joe come through, which is pretty good picks, pretty comfort picks, leaving their damage flexible. And then Shui picking up that Leoric, a hero that they play pretty often, and we've seen Dicky kind of switch into that hero as of late, so I'm not sure it's so much as a counter pick, but it is a very likable solo laner for both of these teams. And the Jaina band coming out, another band targeted at Zul'Jin, really trying to shrink that hero pool down of those backline heroes that Zul'Jin does play. So we'll see how much value it gets later on in the draft. And Maiev going to be banned out on Contender, so leaving his very, very well-known Alarak available.
Alarak can make the life difficult of an Anubarak, but I don't know if that's the pick here. I think maybe the Greymane might be what you see, just because Greymane can shred through the Anubarak, he can actually take down the Leo pretty quick, and get to the backline to the Ana.
And another good pick for the format, they sometimes go with Thrall. Contender will pick Greymane or Thrall in that 4-man spot outside of Alarak and Maiev. We're going to see Raynor and Blaze coming through. Lots of slows coming out from Blaze, from Johanna, from Alex Straza. Instant value if they decide to go in that ace in the hole talent for Raynor at level 1. But they have very consistent damage now. Anubarak is pretty weak to auto attack heroes, and a very defensive setup for the Vikings right now. Really going to make Regen Red come to them.
And I think history tells us that it's probably going to be a combustion blaze. They're going to look to pair it up with something. We'll see exactly where Contender's going to go here. I don't think you're going to see the Alarak with what they're showing.
The Zul'Jin pick is very interesting to me. Zul'Jin loves being able to sit there and just chunk away at tanks. He does scale very well into the late game, which Volskaya does more often than not hit. But And we're going to see the Alarak from Contender. But I want to go back to the Zul'jin. Also, speaking on Murda, yes, I see Murder picked up Coffin Hitler. I have no words to say about that other than that. But Zul'jin, the build is the most important thing I want to see. That's the main thing that concerns me. We'll see what we get, and I'll talk about it if we need to.
Well, who do you give the draft over to here? Both have the potential to do some killing, but I like the control that the Vikings have here, but the shredding for the Protector is over to Regen here. Definitely.
So, yeah, I think Regen has a good way to shred the Protector. They have a really good point control, and the Ana pick, first off, was calculated. They picked that knowing that Sky was wanting to pick that Alexstrasza, so kind of picking a pre-counter to it. They have Cocoon to deal with Dragon Queen. I don't really know who else your Cocoon target would be, maybe outside of Blaze if there's like a bunker. And there's no real like Cocoon burners outside of the oil being on fire for Blaze. So it's very even. I see more comfort picks for the Vikings than I see for Regen, but I watched them play in their matchup. I want to say it was like last week, and they played pretty well. So that Arrows Anubrak was pretty disgusting.
All right. So over on the blue side, we have Contender on Alarak, Dicky on Blaze, Cyan's going to be on Raynor, Sailor Sky's going to be on her beloved Alex, and PJ Tim going to be rocking the JoJo.
And on the right, in the red, Regen red, Shui on the Leo, Zul'jin on the Zul'jin, Arrow on the Beetle, Murder on Orphea, and Repsychic, I hope I got that right, on the Ana.
Okay, interesting.
Looking at level 1s, is there anything that really sticks out to you? I've already got one that I'd like to talk about, but what do you see? What do you think?
Everything looks kind of standard to me. I'll bring him up so everybody else can see him.
The main one I want to talk about is the Blaze.
Yeah, we don't have new habits. That's interesting.
So, Adrenaline Stimpack, getting the auto attack speed and the movement speed for Blaze is going to help him avoid some of those slows that could come out from like Zul'jin and Leoric and Orphea. But without having the Unstoppable, it's going to be hard to get a full channel of combustion off for Blaze. Especially with like the sleep darts that are going to come out, and the double stuns from Anubrak, and the crushing jaws from Orphea. So getting those full combustions is going to be difficult. But what Blaze does get with Adrenaline Stimpack, if you choose to go with that Incinerator Gauntlets at 7, he gets a lot of additional wave clear on demand, I feel like.
And this is interesting. Regen's actually the first ones to the camp. Usually, history tells me when I've watched the Vikings play this, they're right on it, but they're actually a little bit behind on the camp race here with Regen. Oh man, they're already going for support. Regen is also grabbing up all the camps. Contender, he scouts it out, but they know what happened, but there's nothing they can do about it. So they're going to be down one of the toys here for the first objective, B-Train. Okay.
Sorry about that. I had a little bit of issue with my mic. Item control, though, is super important on this map. We're going to see a noob taking a little bit of chunk damage there in that mid lane. But 1 turret to 1, but the healing pack in favor of Regen. That's going to be super nice for them to have on the point to kind of combat the Dragon Queen from Alexstrasza. I think that'll be kind of an interesting trade-off to see. Dragon Queen is really powerful, right? It's basically like an ult before ults. And whenever you see it sometimes, you just honestly just back out and wait for that thing to go down. But with the additional healing of the healing pack, which I'm not quite sure of the statistics, like what numbers it provides for heals, they could honestly try to trade. So we'll see what they choose to do. I still wouldn't personally, but I mean, it's something that allows you an opportunity to play differently than your opponents could expect.
Absolutely. Both teams are getting out their siege camp here. The Vikings are going to be just a little bit behind. They're not going to hold it either. So I'd be curious to see. They are going to keep Cyan to clear it to generate some pressure and back Regen. Nope. They're going to pull him down. Decide they're going to fight now.
Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and see The level 4 is coming online for each of these teams. Regen a little bit ahead on the race to 6. Dicky going extremely deep. Arrow forced to burrow out, however. Good anti-grenade from Ree on the Ana, getting rid of that Alex heal. That's going to be a big cooldown, as right now Dragon Queen coming out early.
Yeah, that's... I would think you'd want to hold it until the push in for that 99%, but they're opting to go ahead and get the early control now. We'll see if it's going to cost them when it comes down to overtime.
Yeah, and Dragon Queen being used, they're going to be missing a little bit of soak in the bottom. I'm not sure how the top camps are matching up. I'm not sure who's going to win that one, but it looks like they're pretty even. It's going to be just kind of like a battle. Looks like Red Side's going to win that, as the big 4-man engage from Johanna and forces Zulkin actually going to go ahead and pop that Amani Rage. PJ falling extremely low. The big stun on the Arrow, who's going down. The first kill, first blood. 4 minutes in for the Vikings, but Zulkin is stacking up and chunking away on Dicky, but the Vikings are still all alive and getting these Alex heals.
Oh my goodness, Zulkin goes down, and something to point out, had PJ picked the subdue talent there, he's already got it stacked. Opting not to go that talent though.
Contender, you sneaky, cheeky little boy. I saw that taunt. Anyone who doesn't know, Contender has like a level 140 Alarak, and we saw the badge not playing any games, as we see a little bit of taunting coming out. I love it. I like the chippy games. They're always the most fun to cast, and Vikings not backing down, and we see the new Protector Glove. You saw it shove a Nubrak away. It did get changed in the last patch, and it is live. The team fight damage of it does go down considerably, but it has very good siege capability.
Yeah, and it looks like Arrow's wanting to really push in here, but the Vikings aren't going to have any of that. They're going to be happy with what they got, and they successfully got the first point when we had wondered if the early Alex was going to play a factor. It did not, B-Train.
Yeah, and we see Zul'jin going into... this is what I want to talk about. Zul'jin goes Headhunter at 1 and Amani Rage at 4, or Amani Hide, going for that armor and the reduction on your 1 key is what it is by default, which lowers your health, which gives Zul'jin increased attack speed and damage. But I want to speak on this from a personal standpoint. I've played a lot of Zul'jin games. Arcanite Axes at level 4 seems to be one of the biggest trap talents for that build. Sure, it scales well, but without going the rest of the mage build, it just doesn't get the same value that going a pure auto build would. You're only going into 1 blind, and so far he's been getting a pretty good stance to just kind of sit back and get those autos, which do stack infinitely as well. So we'll see if that build does scale enough to get a lot of value. And the subdue quest for Johanna was also not picked up. We do see the Blessed Momentum looking to get the auto attack cooldown reduction.
Arrow backs out. He does manage not to get silenced, but Dicky was just going to be a little bit late. Here we go. Here comes the Dragon Queen. Arrow is going to be in some serious trouble here. Oh my goodness. Big condemn. That's 1. Do I hear 2? Is the Zul'jin going to go down? No, he is not. Zul'jin's going to get away. Recyclic, a great job keeping Zul'jin alive right there, but it is still a 1 for nothing. And here comes a Hyperion.
Yeah, so they want to go ahead and siege this down. And Zul'jin could have fallen there if Blaze would have had the Crossfire talent at level 7, but I like to go into Grilling Kill, get that better sustained damage rather than that burst potential. It has really good zoning capabilities. I just want to check to make sure the completion of the quest. It does increase the Ignite duration by 2 seconds and 20% of the damage, so it does give a better sustained fight and zone control for Blaze. As we do see Combustion, no Bunker, Bless Shield, we are going to see the Cleansing Flame from Alexstrasza, Hyperion, of course, and Counter-Strike are the ults for the Vikings.
Right, we're going to have Nano Boost up for the Ana, Guillotine, Entomb, Crushing Jaws, not... I can't remember what the Hungering thing is. What is it called, B-Train?
I call it the Shark Tank, as we're going to see a big combo with the Entomb onto PJ. Dodges the Guillotine, but still falls. So we do have the Nano Boost. You mentioned Guillotine, I think, is the most interesting pickup to me. Zul'jin is 50-50 on the build right now, halfway through the auto attack build for the first 2. And then you have the Mage build at 7 and 10. I think it's kind of an interesting mix-up. We'll see if Nano Boost can be enough. But Shui, getting pretty low here, isn't going to fall. Actually, the stun comes through from Dicky. Gets the kill right on the gate. Down goes Shui. They get a kill, but give up a little bit of time on this top protector, and I don't know if they're going to be able to hit 13 before they are forced to contest this.
I would have liked to have seen the Vikings pick up their turret here before they came up. They had time. The counter's going on. Leo's down. They could have had another toy. That would have given them 3 toys here for this point, but opting to come up instead immediately to get control while Leo is now back. Let's see who's going to make the hard engage here first. If you're Regen, you got to take the fight now, right?
I mean, oh, there goes Tomb. So it looks like they were trying to get the fight. They also missed the hand. Blaze is going to get the big stun. Combustion is going to go out into the backline onto Cocoon, into the backs on Alex as well, as Dicky falling low. Blessed is forced to come out onto Zulkin and friends. I believe Dragon Queen is still on CD. I'm not quite sure if it's up yet, as Vikings are falling low here.
And there is the Dragon Queen. She's coming to subjugate her subjects here. But there's a big guillotine on Dicky. He's going to live. The Dragon Queen is going to chase Regen off. They're probably going to try to re-engage here with the life bars being low. And yes, they are. There's a crushing
Cleansing Flame. Cleansing Flames comes out from Alex. They do get the pick off onto Raynor. Sustained damage is going to go down here, and it looks like they're going to force the Vikings off the point at 99%. They're going to get the Entomb onto Contender, who turns around, counter strike. Take that, Leo. Undead King no more. Shui is now on a respawn timer as well, but will still be here before Raynor.
That was an amazing silence, and then the counter strike was brutal. There's a little bit of a whiff by Dicky, but he is going to not get Orphea. Oh, he does get Orphea. That's huge, B-Train.
Looking like Damian Lillard with that fade away from long range. I want to shout out the Blessed Shield from PJ, getting that stun onto the 3 after the charge whiff from Dicky, but able to get out the slows, the oil. They had just enough damage to get it through. Great communication, great team fight from the Vikings. And I think right now, if you're Regen Red, you just have to hold into this game. They have an extremely powerful comp as far as scaling with the talents they've chosen, but they have to get there. The Siege Protector doesn't fight as well in team fights, but it did get the Siege part of it buffed. So this thing is probably just going to blow down on this bottom fort, as we're seeing Hyperion committed as well.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a dead fort, and if Regen's not careful, they could lose the whole wall here, and that could set up an endgame should the Vikings manage to get objective number 3.
Dicky going dummy deep here. Zulkin is honestly on an island. If the Vikings were to turn on that, this could be disastrous. Level 13s are here for both teams. Dicky kind of low on mana. Combustion has been used. And I think if you're... Yeah, Leo's coming in for the flank. Watch out for the big tomb play here.
Oh, no. Iron Skin came out a little bit early on PJ, but Shui missed. He's only catching the win there, but Johanna is in the cocoon while everybody else is on the run. It looks like Regen's going to turn around and say, you know what? Just get the Joe, get the one we can get, and see where we can press our advantage.
Kind of a... They still get a kill. They still use their ults. Orphea, except Crushing Jaws is still off CD. But I think that trade out, it'll allow them to get up and get this camp. I think if you're the Vikings, you just give it up and you wait for your 16. They don't need this camp. It's not life or death. But there was a little bit of miscommunication. They got the tomb they wanted onto the Alexstrasza, but the Anubarak Burrow Charge and the rest of the CC from Regen Red went elsewhere, and Alex was able to just pop Cleansing Flames and fly away. So if they were to turn, if they were to get the CC chain on the Alex there instead, that fight would have looked possibly a whole lot different. But they are still getting control of this map, being aggressive pre-16, which I really like from them, knowing that the Vikings have a tough choice to make as the big tomb and double stun.
Oh my goodness. Huge crushing jaws right there, getting the Alarak and the Alex. With the Joe not being able to be there, the Vikings maybe should have just conceded that, but instead they take 2-0, not in their favor.
Yeah, fantastic flanking burrow charge from the Beetle. They're losing the map, but they closed the gap. Oh my god, they were down almost they were down about 2.5 levels, and now they're only down by half a level, and they're still getting value on the map due to that double pickoff. So it's going to be an even 16-16 fight for this bottom protector, which is usually the most condemning. And honestly, if you're Cyan and PJ right here, stepping up to defend this fort is awesome if it works out, but it's still dangerous. And Dicky is really far out there.
Dicky, he just doesn't give a living. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go in there and combust them all, I guess is what he's thinking.
He's trying to blaze it up 420 style, you know what I mean? He's going deep. What? Okay, Dicky is on an island here, getting chunked away by Zulkin, and this is a 3v5 waiting for the other two. We have a full 5v5 combustion comes through, but we're gonna get the negative healing grenade out. The huge 4-man combustion, and the stuns coming out. The Alarak counter-strike dodges the damage from Orphea. Cyan peeling Shui off the back line. Nobody grabbing the turret just yet. Alex comes back down. That is a 3-for-0 trade. Regen Red getting detonated on and losing their healing pack. The Vikings taking no prisoners, going straight for this keep. They smell blood in the water.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. It looks to me like, as we've seen right there, close quarter fights are actually going to favor the Vikings. So if you're Regen, you want a more open fight. You're going to want to wait for Shui to get the big entomb, followed up with the Crushing Jaws, then an Anubarak stun. But unfortunately, that time, it just wasn't executed the way I think it needed to be executed, and Regen paid dearly that time.
Yeah, it's always a tough choice. It's kind of like when you're going a blow-up comp onto... you're going blow-up into a composition which features a hero like Medivh, right? If you entomb Alarak, what's going to happen on the entomb? Number one, Guillotine's been coming down on it every time. The communication from Shui and Zulkin has been pretty spot on. The Guillotine's always landed right in that thing. But Contender always has Counter-Strike. Always. So Counter-Strike negates all the damage not only, but then it puts out an incredible amount as we see the Entomb yet again onto Contender. Pops the Counter-Strike. Not going to be enough this time. Dicky in the back line with a huge combustion, but Alarak does fall first, and now so does Dicky.
Back and forth we go. This time, Regen's going to be the one taking the advantage, but this fight's not exactly over yet. Regen is a little bit low, but here comes Arrow, and that's going to be a 3-for-0 in Regen's favor this time. So we get a 3-for-0 with the Vikings. Now we get a 3-for-0 with Regen. Back and forth we go. I don't think we could ask for anything more than this out of the number 1 and number 2 seed out of Division C East.
Yeah, a little bit of split pressure, excuse me. Dicky was kind of low on mana. They got around to the back line, but Contender really just got isolated there, and no one was in the position to step up with the Anub stuns onto the back line. We saw Zul'jin complete that level 1 quest, so with the completion of that and with Headhunter and then his baseline done as well, with 36 stacks, you only need 30 if you're looking at the board. He now has the double rotation of the Twin Cleave, which is that level 7 stacking talent, and he has increased attack range. I think it's by 1.1, if I'm not mistaken. It is 1.1. So Zul'jin can hit from further away, and it gets more. He doubles his stacking speed now with his Twin Cleave, but we see this top keep falling low, and they actually could lose it.
They absolutely could. One more wave comes in there. They're going to lose that top keep, so if you're Regen, I think it's imperative that you get to keep here and at least balance out the bottom lane, since it looks like you're going to lose the top lane.
Yeah, I think they have to get the keep here, and we'll see if they want to position for more. Contender caught in the Entomb again, does pop the Counter-Strike. Shui getting chunked. They're going to use Combustion as well. I believe it got put on... Oh my goodness, the damage on the Cyan is insane. Combustion did go out. It was a mini blast. They're going to get the big double silence out, but this Protector is still at about 50% HP, and it is starting to wail away on this keep.
Oh no. Some of the Vikings were over on the laser there from the Protector. That kind of hurt. They are going to lose their keep, but if either team oversteps right here, we have a win condition on both sides now. So I think you're going to see some extreme caution come out of Regen not wanting to overstay. And I don't think you're wanting to... Oh no, Sailor is going to go down. That might be the pick that the Regen needs here. If PJ goes down, this could spell trouble, and PJ is going to go down. B-Train, it's not looking good.
No, it doesn't. Now they have really no big damage. Dicky is going to get out, but the core is at 70%, 50% and falling. Protector still up with 11%. Contender can't do enough damage here. That's going to be an insane turnaround from Regen Red. Able to flip the script on that game, which looked so grim there for a while, and able to pull out the gutsy win. Once they got to that third Protector, that late game scaling kicked up, that Zul'jin was destroying people with the Protector next to him.
Yes, they were. As we take a look at the stats here, Contender getting some major value on the Counter-Strike, Cyan, not that many deaths. I mean, kills even, everything was even. It just, the Vikings just overstepped just that at that critical moment and got too caught, and that was enough to turn the game.
Yeah, just some kind of like small positional. I don't even know if it was a mistake. I just think it was chalked up to the fact that I don't think they respected the ability to engage from Regen. The flanking burrow charges from Arrow were pretty cash money. Always on the back line. They'd get the entomb with Leo. Arrow would go to the back line, keep the tank and the healer from stepping up to try to save somebody. And that was pretty much all she wrote on that last fight. Especially, if you don't have bunker, that's a defensive tool that you can't use. And if the fight goes south and you lose someone early, I mean, the Zul'jin is such a win harder hero. And if he's able to just sit back and get that free reign while Noob's controlling everybody else, then he does an insane amount of damage, as we saw there.
Right, and the Orphea murder there was really good with the crushing jaws, and was almost always getting at least 2 in it, following up the Leo entombs. So the coordination was there. We're going to take a quick break as they set up the next lobby. Stay here. Oh, why didn't it? Okay, there we go. Let me clear all this stuff. All right. I am. Oh, here we go. Oops. We are back. I totally switched screens and forgot we switched screens. So we're looking at the map pick here. The Vikings are taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Do you like this, B-Train?
At the same time, I feel like a lot of what Regen played and has played could be good on this map. I'm not sure how much they picked it, but the Vikings come here every so often, so they're not complete strangers. The map, however, is a little... It's unlike Volskaya, right? It's smaller lanes, quicker rotations, a lot of emphasis on controlling the turn-ins, and I think a lot of it focuses on just pure wave clear. Like, honest to goodness, pure wave clear is one of the greatest things you can have on Tomb. You can never have enough.
No, it would be interesting to see if there's a little pocket strat here now that it's kind of do or die time, with this being a best of 3. I'll be interested to see if they have a little thing we haven't seen out of the Vikings all season.
I'm gonna go ahead and do some speculation, and we're gonna see the Junkrat ban again. I think honestly the Vikings are gonna go for a comp that I've seen them. Look for the Kel'Thas and the Azmodan. Kel'Thas is gone, but I still think we're gonna see Azmodan. Well, I would not count that hero out of this draft right now.
No, this is if you get the timing down and you pair it with like say a Johanna, man, he can stack fast here, B-Train. Oh,
Oh yeah, Asmodean just AFK clears waves from his own core all the game long, and he's pretty fun. We'll see if they want to go with the Tyrande ban again, and they do. So pretty much seeing the mirror bans from game one. Science, Kel'Thas, we're gonna see Zulkin targeted, PJ, and then Recycling from Regen, and we're gonna go with the first pick Ana again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
that's right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll be curious to see if we're gonna get a priority on the healer and the tank again, like we did last game here, or if they're gonna there's the tank and they're gonna take away the Leo. Probably a good decision, since the tombs were pretty much on point.
Yeah, and I think the main thing about Leo here is, sure, there are maps where laning matters. Like Dragonshire, if you're losing your lane, it's /GG, FF, move on. But here, you don't have to win your lane, right? You just have to be able to clear waves, gather gems, not get ganked, and that's what Leo does. Leo's great at all three of those things. And like I said earlier, I've seen Dicky play a lot of it lately. We're going to go into the Thrall from Shui, who was the solo laner last game for Regen, and Murder's going to hop on the Orphea. So we'll see what the priority is here for the bans. Anubarak obviously did a fantastic job last game, right? A pretty fantastic job from Arrow, but I don't know if he's necessarily the tank you need on Tomb. Sure, he's got that ability to kind of go in and kind of disrupt things. There's a lot of flanking positions, but his wave clear is kind of lacking. And I think they might want to go into something a little more wave clearish, and they're going to be forced to, which I'm going to go ahead and put the hammer down. It's going to be ETC as they ban the Anubarak.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be ETC here with an Earthquake into a Crushing Jaw.
I mean, they could still get Mosh with Shark Tank.
Yeah, they could. Eternal Feast, that's what it's called. I couldn't remember. It's called Eternal
I call it
Feast.
Shark Tank. Sounds way cooler. And they're going to get the Maya ban again. They could go into Garrosh, but Garrosh into Joe, Leo. The Jaina actually could be picked up here for the Vikings. And they're going to get the Asmodean, and they're going to pick up Sky Stukov. So switching up the healers. But there's the Asmodean. I think from Zulkin, we could just go ahead and see the Jaina here. They would be kind of like a double mage, essentially. But I don't think it's honestly that big of a deal right now. Wave clear is still the most important thing on this map.
Absolutely. The silence is... If you... Oh, there's a Medivh. That's one I didn't expect.
I did not expect a Medivh, but I've heard rumblings of this. But yeah, Medivh's here. Level 20, if you get there, Medivh does have instant wave clear, which kind of... obviously, if you get that late in the game, it's been one heck of a game, right? But Leyline, EQ, Mosh, and Shark Tank. And we're going to go ahead and get the Gray main from Contender, so really focusing on having a little bit of burst ability and trying to kill that backline. But against Medivh, that's going to be kind of tough. The combo here from Regen Red is pretty phenomenal. You have a Leyline, you have an Earthquake, you have Orphea, whatever ult she chooses, and you have Mosh. But as far as the Vikings go, they scale all their heroes, maybe outside of Greymane, and he's still good, scale pretty decently into the late game. So I think if you're Regen, you don't want to fall behind early. You want to try to stay within arm's reach and try to get some of these combos off.
What the... That ain't good.
Whoa.
There we go. I don't know what that was about. We went to the white screen of death. Not the black screen, not the blue screen, the white screen. But it's fixed. We're good.
All right. Unfortunately, Dicky's not playing Dahaka, so I can't say Dicky with the licky. That's still one of my favorite moments. But nonetheless, here we are. In game number 2, we are going to have the Found Vikings on the left. In the blue, we have Cyan on the Asmodean, Contender on the Gray main, PJ Tim rocking out on the Johanna, Sailor Sky on the Stukov, and Dicky Icky Woo-wee on the Leo.
And over on the left side, we are going to have Arrow on the ETC. Shui is going to be on Thrall. Recyclic is going to be on The Ana again, it's going to be Zulkin on Medivh, and again it is going to be Murder, trying to commit murder on the Orphea.
We're going to see Asmodan going into Gluttony. It basically increases the number of stacks he gets from hitting heroes. Pretty fantastic. Helps him stack a little bit easier in this 4-man. And then the Annihilation gain is doubled against heroes post 200, which is his first spike. We're going to go and see the Echo of Elements from Thrall, Bite Grenade from Ana, and everything else is pretty much pretty meta, I would say.
Yep. I'm trying to get Mark here. Sorry, everybody.
And both the teams are doing pretty much what you expect. You got the mid-top rotation. Wave clear in the early game, and honestly until level 10, the Vikings, as long as they stack their Asmodonger, they're going to win this wave clear. Thrall's going to have a rough time with Leo, but we see what the Medivh factor does. Now, for a lot of people, you don't often see Medivh anymore. He doesn't get picked as much as he used to. He's kind of gotten nerfed. But Medivh stays what he always was. He breaks the game and changes the way you're forced to play. As Contender steps up for the gems, the slide combo comes out, and that is a big oof if you're the Vikings. Because Medivh allows them to rotate quicker, making upwards through the lanes. They can get top to bottom and make up all the time that they lose for the wave clear. So if they don't clear as fast, it's fine because they can just teleport there. And we're going to see the big slide combo come out on the PJ. And that's going to be something to watch out for because they can be anywhere they want to be in an instant.
Absolutely. And I think if you're the Vikings right now, you have to keep this in mind. You're more of a late game team. The longer this game goes, the more Asmo's going to scale, the more he's going to hurt. And just a couple big dunks and fights turn pretty quickly. I do like the Contender over on the camp here on the Bruiser while they're clearing.
Early Bruiser camp is one of those things that you saw in HGC for a while. It was in the Korean meta. They kind of really changed how people view the Bruiser camps. A lot of teams took them earlier on maps like Cursed Hollow and on Tomb and Sky Temple. They get a lot of value if you push with them just a little bit. As long as you're able to stay up in your wave clear, which they currently are, then they can really commit to pushing with that camp. We'll see if they choose to or not, but as far as, like you said, the early stacking process goes, the Medivh is something that also scales decently well as his abilities gain him more power to negate certain things from the Vikings. And Arrow's sliding in aggressive, which Medivh allows you to do. It doesn't look like they're going to get a kill here, though. Cyan is feeling the heat on the donger.
The heat on the donger. I don't know what to say to that. But
it's okay. If he gets hit by Mosh Pit, he'll be a dancing donger.
Oh my god. Oh goodness. So the wave clear is still in favor of the Vikings here. The camp, the kill didn't benefit Regen that much. That was a great protect by Zulkin right there. But you can see the clear difference definitely in the lanes.
Yeah, and both teams now have their turn in. And if you're the Vikings, there's two ways that you can play this, right? There's two ways this works. You either let them turn in pre-10 before it's even close so that you can try to free clear it. Because right now, if they're both on the same talent tier, the wave clear is better for the Vikings. But the other strategy is you want to hold your turn until you're going to get that 10 advantage with it so that the other team literally can't defend. So they're going to turn in early, which could net them the lead they're looking for. But if the Vikings, if Regen Red doesn't get substantial value with this Web Weaver phase, they're honestly just set back even more in the future, which works to the Vikings' favor.
Absolutely, and a high priority here on top. Being the boss lane, you can't really fault them for wanting to get as much damage out here as they can. But there's a big globe from Cyan. The Protect was already down on Zulkin. Let's see, Regen looks like they're going to be content with getting the front gate, but they may have caught PJ out here, but nope, he's going to be okay. And it looks like all they're going to get is the front gate, maybe a tower out of top.
Ooh, Dicky missed the hand bottom. He's going to be forced to back up a little bit. Probably going to use that tap to defend this, especially without Ossian. As we're going to see the big slide combo again onto Contender. Gets the gets the armor, not biotic armor, just gets the armor from that wolf heart, that wolf form, which is a very smart move for all you Greymane players who are kind of concerned about survival. Going into that dark flight, that wolf form gives you extra armor. So always remember that whenever you're trying to survive a very hairy situation.
And I will say this, Regen committed the top and they got the full wall. I didn't expect them to get the full wall. They did commit, they got 2 full walls. Did they get the bottom wall? I don't think they did. But 2 full walls and an early turn in, that's about standard, I think.
Yeah, I think honestly maybe they underachieved just a little bit, because if you look at what happened, right? They pushed lanes into the Vikings. They delivered them more XP, more gems, but they didn't get a fort, so they don't passively gain more XP. So they honestly just kind of shoved a turn-in into the mouths of the Vikings. And the experience is still pretty even. Both teams are dinging 9. Vikings actually dinged it first, but that's just kind of the wave clear where the lanes are at. But another interesting fact about Tomb of the Spider Queen, right? The gems that you get from the minion waves are super important. You have to have them. The minions themselves are worth less XP. Traditional minion waves are worth, I believe, like 68 to 78 or 80 XP per minion, depending on if it's the ranged ones or the melee ones. On Tomb, they're worth less. They're worth like high 50s to low 60s. So the gems are more important, technically, than the soak, because they allow you to push. So as long as Regen is collecting gems while they're pushing XP away, it's fine. And Dicky is going to fall in the bot lane. I'm not sure how many gems that was. It's got to be less than 10, though.
I think it was 9. But another thing to point out is once again, we have the Vikings on their camp again, and I don't think Regen's got one out. Instead, they're prioritizing keeping the lane soaked, getting the gems, and looks like they are going to try to get a second straight turn in here.
Yeah, big combo coming out. Going to get the big 3-man mosh. 23 plus 15 gems going to drop. 3 kills, but they do trade the Ana. Contender going deep. Medivh going to get the protect. Kyle's going to grab about 34 of those gems on the way out. Dicky, however, is going to lose another 20 and unable to trade the kill. A horrific turn of events. Leyline, EQ, and Nano weren't even used, and they were able to just take that fight. So now Regen can get a double turn in, which they have accomplished, and they can really start just kind of putting their foot down on the throat of the Vikings for this game. And if you're the Vikings, you got to hold on for dear life during this push.
Absolutely. I like how you said horrific. You didn't want to, use that trademark unfortunate events. What is it, Lemony Snickets?
Oh, Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate. I read all those books as a kid, man. Those books are lit. We're going to see the Vikings try to mount this defense, though, as level 10s are picked up. We haven't really discussed them, but we'll go ahead and go over it. We got Go for the Throat. We got the big black icky pool of dunks from Azmodan. Contender running for his life, however. Bless Shield, Entomb, and the Flailing Swipe from Stukov. And Regen, they've got that nasty wombo setup that I was talking about.
Yep, we got Nano, Mosh Pit, Crushing Jaws. We've seen all those come out. We're going to have Earthquake, and of course we're going to have... Oh, what is that called for Medivh? I cannot remember.
Late line yoink as he gets 3 people. The Jaws come through, deleting 1. Sky is going to go down as well. And just like that, 2 more kills. The Vikings not really respecting the Medivh here and the ability for ETC to play as aggressively as Medivh lets him. ETC, main thing, right? Never slide in, because you need slide to get out. But with the Medivh, you can do whatever the heck you want. If you want to slide under the core, go for it, bro. We got a portal and protected, because that's balanced. So I think right now you're kind of seeing what Medivh gets in the meta nowadays, which is a little bit of uncertainty on how to play around it. And the Vikings have time to make this up. They got a turn-in phase. They basically paid 50 gems, which is, I think, all they had. And the 50 gems will basically say, hey, we want to clear this boss for free, and then we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, I think it's a good play right now. It'll help kind of stop the bleeding, kind of give them a chance to reset the map, the game. It's going to just buy them the time they need to get to 13 before they have to take another hard engage, which inevitably is going to come from Regen. And their engages have been absolutely on point this game. It's been quite impressive.
Yeah, and Medivh electing to go into a extremely nerfed version of Circle of Protection. I don't see it picked often anymore. The 2-second increase cooldown is not something that really warrants what you're going to get from it, as they're going to get the big 4-man ley line, only hitting 1. Mosh is going to whiff City. Arrow turning it down to 1 with that one. And they're all just going to walk away. 14-12. Vikings will take 13. Now they're on the same town at least. And pretty much everything burned except for the Earthquake, as Vikings are looking to kind of turn this around in the top lane.
Well, you have to. You know they whiffed on their two big... they got a solid ley line. Oh my goodness. This is going to... They're going to trade out Shui for Asmo. Let's see if we're going to get some more. Contender trying to make something happen here. And there's the disengage from Sailor, but if they had turned on her, she could have been dead there.
Yeah, I think if the health bars read a different story for Regen, they could have honestly just portaled right back in and finished off what they started. They, however, have their own turn in, which they're getting now. Zulkin going to finish that out. The Vikings get the Bruiser camp to help kind of push in that bottom lane. So, or not the bottom lane, excuse me, the mid lane. So the Vikings are going to have mid lane pushing for them to help defend against the Web Weavers. But honestly, right now, the most intimidating thing is the top lane. Because that's a keep right now. That Web Weaver's going straight to a keep, and the lane's not pushed out at all. The bottom one's going to stop a little bit short, right around the 50-yard line. But this top lane's coming all the way to the outer layer of defense. And, I mean, this is probably a pretty comfortable keep wall here for Regen.
Yeah, it's definitely the wall, and if the Vikings aren't very... If they misstep just even a little bit, it's going to be keep, probably.
I would like to point out that Asmodan at 12 minutes is at 390 stacks, almost at 400 for that Pride connection that you get at 20. Asmo's a very chunky boy right now.
Yeah, and if you're Regen and you're seeing that, I think you have to be like, we have to end this pre-20, because if not, he's going to start just obliterating us. And it is complete now.
Yeah, when I was looking at their ability to oh, no. Oh. The 3-man, you have to have an interrupt here. They're going to get the 3-man Mosh with a huge Orphea combo. The 3-man Mosh, it's a dance party up in here. Montel Jordan telling everybody this is how we do it over here on the Regen side. And right now they're just running it down the mid lane with this wave here. They got a lot of gems out of the way, and honestly, if you're Vikings, I don't see any way you stop them from taking a keep, as it looks like Dickie's going to drop 24 more gems here, and Contender's going to try to pick those up, but this keep is just a West Side story, man. It's out of here.
Going old school, Montel Jordan. Aren't you too young to know that, B-Train?
No. I mean, I'm too young for it, but that's where I live. I live in the golden days.
The golden days. The golden days of hip-hop, I guess. For some of us that have been like, that's what I heard in high school. Anyway, so they're going to keep pressing their advantage here as Regen Red, and you can't really blame them, but that is a huge root. But, oh, and then follow up with the Entomb. This is the fight they're going to have if you're the Vikings, but if they lose 2, they could open up the... There's 1. If they lose another one, this could open up the... oh my goodness. This...
The Vikings got a fantastic combo, but they weren't 16. They did it without 16, and Regen was already conceding the keep. The Vikings chased, and Regen just turned it around on him, and now having no mercy. They're going to go and drop another keep. Greymane and Leo... Greymane's down for another 20 seconds. Leo's almost back up, but that's 2 keeps here for Regen, and Asmo doesn't scale past 400, man. He doesn't stack infinitely, so if you're the Vikings, you have to have nothing less than stellar play from here on out. And if you make it to 20, sure, that Leo silencing tomb is going to be lit, but what's going to happen? They're just going to get portal and protected right out of it. So I think you have to find a way to stagger your cooldowns to bait out some of the cooldowns of Medivh, because right now, just saying, here now, these people, Medivh just presses W, and it's all for naught.
Yeah, and I tell you, Zolkin's ley lines have just been phenomenal this game. He's caught two, no less than two, usually three, and then the follow-up has been there. It's only been mistimed once I can remember of between the middle and top lane. I think one time they mistimed ley line coming off, but they're on point, B-Train. It's going to be an uphill climb at this point. Two keeps down. It's definitely going to be an uphill climb, but I think they can pull it off. They just got to take that one good fight.
You got to have one good fight, and you got to pretty much do it now because 20's, it's peering around the corner at the Vikings, right? It's looking like, here's Johnny, it's coming through the door. So if you're the Vikings, you got to try to find a way to force this before 20. But you can't fight on the boss pad because Medivh has a Leyline Yoink, and he's just going to throw that down and take himself a free boss. Because unlike VP, it doesn't stasis the ground, it just stasis his heroes. So they can just take the boss with it. So I think if you're the Vikings, you have to force this fight off the boss pad and out of that spell aura.
And this, with the aura and them seeing where you are on the map, this could... okay. The Vikings are just going to be... We got to get out of here. I think that's kind of a pick your poison situation there. You fight them there or you fight them on core, but they're going to have double camp and spider. This is going to be hard to stop, B-Train.
Yeah, double spell aura camps and the sneaky, breaky spooters are going to be rumbling down the lane here. And Medivh didn't use the ley line. I wanted to say very good job by Zolkin to have patience, not busting out that ley line on that camp. Because now they can use it for this core fight. All ults are up. We see Leyline onto 1, onto 2. It's going to get Skye and the Leo. They're going to slide into the back onto Skye. No support. Contender goes into the back line and gets murdered by Murder. And right now, not looking good for the Vikings. Recycle not going to go down just yet. Dicky into the back line. Vikings not giving up. They trade one kill. But down goes Leo. Down goes Johanna. Stukov can swipe and wipe all day. But it doesn't look like it's going to get anything done. A 3-level lead. The Web Weaver's coming in. 2 keeps down. I think Regen Red has done it.
Yeah, it's... and Asmo, that's going to be 4. I think this is going to be GG. And Regen going to get a little form of vengeance here for their defeat at the hands of Vikings in the early season.
Yeah, they played fantastically. They had that Medivh up the sleeve. They busted it out against me, actually, in my last game this season. So I understand the pain of the Vikings right now. And for any of you at home who want to learn how to play against a Medivh, as a Medivh player myself, and watching a lot of HGC Medivhs, the main thing is portal control, which the Vikings didn't have much of. Usually you think like Junkrat or Malfurion, or Muradin, like in Garrosh, like people who could just control the space where the portals are, right? Because if you can't get out of your portal, say there's a Malfurion route there, then the portal does you nothing, and it's just a wasted cooldown. So at the end of the day, if you don't have portal control, Medivh comps like that can just run. And we saw that happen. Great Medivh play out from Zolkin there.
Absolutely. As we take a look at the stats here, early on, it was an even game, and it's just like you said, once they got their foot on the throat of the Vikings, they never let go. They snowballed it hard. They got that one key fight once the ults came on. They got that big fight. Killed, I think, 3 of them. Got control of the map, got the double turn in, and they just kept their foot on the throttle. So you got to respect what they did there. We're going to be right back. We're going to see if we can get an interview. Stay tuned. We are back. Caught B Train laughing. We are back with Team Captain Recyclic. How are you feeling, Recyclic?
I cried a little bit, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just a little, like, just flabbergasted at how they performed tonight. All my boys, the whole games, I was just apologizing to them every second I missed a cue or anything. But yeah, I'm so happy right now. Oh my goodness. Whew.
I can
You're the healer, man. You don't apologize. If you miss a cue, it's because they didn't hit it fast enough.
Put it on Arrow's shoulders. He overstayed, right?
Oh my God, Arrow! Come on now.
You gotta be overstaying, Arrow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right,
yeah.
so
good.
Your Wombos tonight, unbelievable. The Volskaya could have gone either way. You guys are pushing in. I think you lose top keep, and they back you off of the bottom keep. But then they slightly overstepped just enough that you caught two of them, I believe, if I'm right. Right, B-Train? They caught two. You got the one kill. The other one was shortly followed up. And then you were able to take a very highly contested game on Volskaya.
Yeah, Volskaya was definitely one of the most Monka-esque games I've ever played, ever. It was pretty crazy that how, it could have gone literally either way. And, I guess that's just the nature of the map, too. Like, the later it goes, the more rubber bandy it gets. So yeah, we kind of had to give up that top keep, of course, but rubber band. but yeah, so it was really rough. But yes, we did manage to get the picks bottom side, and that pretty much just secured it for us. Yes, it was a very patient comp that we ran. It was a very late game comp. Zulkin had to keep reminding me, stop freaking out. Like we come online later on, and so. Knowing me, I was panicking the entire time, but everyone else seemed to be in chill mode. So,
speaking of Zulkin,
that's one of the things I wanted to speak on. Sorry to interrupt you, Bob, but like you talked about, Zulkin was telling you guys to calm down in game one, wait till the late game, and I talked about it in draft. I played a lot of Zul'jin. I'm very critical on the mage build, especially when you take only the latter half of it. But like I mentioned it, like I don't want Zulkin to think I was flaming. The mage build comes on dumb late if you can stack it, and he did a fantastic job. I looked at one point, and he's at like 60. He hit 16, and I was like, all right, if he's going to stack, now's the time. And I blinked, and he's at like 88, and I'm just like, ooh. I was like, yo, this thing's starting to chunk, and I was watching those Apexes hit, man. Like, if that build gets to late game and it gets stacked, it's really good, but you guys had a struggle in the early game, which is what I expected once I saw it. So that was a really good job from you guys being able to stay like poised.
Exactly, yeah. There was a lot of, let's try and bait Dragon out, and then we would die anyway. and then, but more or less the whole point of that was to get Zul'jin or Zul'Kin stacked, whatever you want to call him.
Well, let's open this up to Mark, who was doing the camera for us tonight, which thank you for that, Mark. Do you have any questions for Recyclic on game one? Put him on the spot here.
Hi, this is me, Mark Zombie, twitch.tv/Mark Zombie. No questions here.
Put him on the spot. All right, let's move on to game two. So we're going back and forth. You guys are actually a little bit behind on the wave clear. The Vikings are getting the camps early, pushing all their early advantages, kind of abusing the fact that your wave clear was going to be
not
slower.
Great. Yeah, not great.
As B-Train had pointed out, since you had the Medivh, you could rotate faster, so they kind of offset each other. And I think you get the first turn in. I didn't think you get the top wall, but you kept pushing, so you ended up getting the first two walls, and then it all changed. Tell us how you got that second turn and how you started to snowball this map.
So the biggest thing that we have told each other is always watch those turn-ins. And we did actually want Junkrat really badly on that map, and naturally they banned it. So, because he provides vision very well on within on just one point, because you can set up in the bushes or whatever. So yeah, the whole point of the whole thing that we do on Tomb is watch those turn-ins, and Thrall on the bottom did a good job of watching, or Shui rather, and Zulkin in bird form was able to just simply fly in with no repercussions whatsoever, and even Arrow was always set up there. So that's kind of how we basically played goalkeeper on that one. If you're into soccer, I don't know if you are, but yeah, we were pretty much watching those turns. Now I will admit, like, I wish we got camps out a little more frequently, but that was kind of just what we took, was sort of like a lack of wave clear and stuff like that. But in the end, it worked out. Yeah, the biggest thing, we came online at 10 pretty much, and I think that showed.
I noticed in the bands there was a distinct lack of Panda. All right,
was there?
Where was that when we played you guys?
Look, I actually feel not great about the Sky Temple Chen ban. I literally said during the third ban phase, there were like 3 seconds left. I said, guys, what are we banning? And no one said anything. And I went, Chen. And then I felt really, really bad. So I owe you one Chen game. Okay? I owe you one Chen game.
Nah. It's cool. I'll get you next season. But
okay.
back to the whole the game 2. Let's skip more important, right? Azmodan got stacked in 12 minutes.
Yeah.
At what point did you start going from ooh to oh my god, I'm dead? Like, did you notice just like the instant transition of these fights don't really hurt that much, and then as the healer, when you watch everybody's health bars just disappear, and you're playing Anna, like what's your thought process? Like, what are you telling everybody in that moment?
Mostly I was just making sure that we were ironically clumped up so that I could get those level 1 W's off, very ironically. But no. I was kind of freaking out, especially on my first death in that game, because Contender literally just walked away from the mosh and just smacked me the whole time. And it hurt. But we wound up trading 3-1 on that one. And yeah, so comms were generally like, here's this guy, get this guy. Oh, I'm dead. so yeah, no, Azmodan stacked so fast, and he was at like 94, like, I don't even know how, like 6 minutes in, I swear. Like he was stacked super early. So yeah, we were getting chunked very quickly, and I was definitely freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, like a lot of people, I think, for most of the time, team captains are like tanks or DPS, or like at least the interview parts. Like a lot of the times, you don't get to talk to supports in the interview, so it's interesting to get the different perspective from people who are forced to keep people like me alive. So like it's a lot harder, when your healer can give your team like that kind of assurance, like especially with having a Zulkin to help you out with all those shields, like you guys would just get so low, and then I would just blink and you're all full health and the other people are dead. So you guys did a fantastic job, like turning it around, being able to stay poised in the chaotic fights where Greyman's just flying around and everybody's getting slam dunked on. That second game, I was super worried about your draft, but you guys played it pretty fantastically.
I do have a question. And maybe I'm taking Mark's question here. When you seen the Asmo stacked, did you guys feel like we have to win pre-20? Because if not, we are going to get chunked so hard. It's going to turn.
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously it's a lot of damage, but it's a lot of damage one time. Like, it's a long cooldown. I think it's 10 seconds, right? So we have a 10-second window of just healing up or just counter-attacking, that on a level 1, if I land that on everybody, oh man, like that's a big heal right there, and then I get the heals later on too. So yeah, like it's rough, yes, but the team fights shouldn't last that long, and Azmodan basically becomes not really a hero once his globe goes out. So no, it wasn't really said, hey, we have to finish before 20, we have to. So that was never really said. It was more the concern was the map and in the moment more than anything.
All right, Mark, do you have anything? Caught him off.
No, I'm all set there. Thank you.
You're like the waitress coming back to the table with his mouth full, man.
Yeah. Do you want this filled up? All right, Recyclic, we are going to open up the floor to you for some shout outs.
Oh, shout outs. Jeez. I've got to thank, I don't know, literally everybody who came out. This was apparently the most hyped match of probably all of Div C. I don't know. That's at least it seemed that way. I want to shout out all my boys, Zolkin, Arrow, Murder, and Shui, and even Carve Abashore. You guys are amazing. Thank you for getting me here. Like, it's surreal, absolutely surreal. Murda, I got to shout you out. Tom, who I know is watching from home with Acme Justin, and Tori and Rhea. Oh my god! And I have to thank every team in Div C East. Found Vikings, Almost Legends, UARC, Bancho, Calculated Throw, Winky Face, Wood League, Zul'jin Distillery, House of Ches, and even Team Rectum. I literally just read those off the website. Just all of you, literally all of you, everyone in the world, and of course, Murda above all else. So those are my shout outs.
All right, I can't believe you said Team Rectum with a straight face.
I didn't.
I can't even think Team Rectum with a straight face, man.
All right, make sure you go look at I had a really awesome video made for you guys, but I realized I made a mistake at the end.
Oh no!
And I didn't size your guys' section of the highlight right, so I cut all that, but I did keep the Star Wars video in there for you.
Okay.
So make sure you check that out.
Sure.
We want to thank the NGS, everything they've done this season. It's been a great, I can say for myself and probably B-Train Recycling, anybody that played in Div C this year, the placements were fantastic. Every game was phenomenal. It always felt like every team had a chance to win. Things could turn on a dime. And you guys came out on top, and you'll have Rush B. I do know this. Rush B's only dropped 2 maps the whole season. Do you think you're going to be able to deal with that?
One can hope. I think we can. I really do. I have full faith in my boys, and more than anything, we really wanted this game more than anything. So, it was obviously one game at a time, and we're looking forward to the grand final, and hoping to put on a show in this 3 out of 5, or best of 5 rather. So yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Get scouting, and we'll see what happens when you guys play. Everybody that tuned in tonight, thank you for joining us. We love you. God bless you. Have a good night.
I gotta.
Wait.
Oh, I got a plug. All right, considering like 107% of everybody who's watching is probably left by now, I got a plug. Div C, all my homies. I posted a link about a week ago, or I tagged everybody. The Heart and Soul game that I'm going to be hosting. It kind of is in lieu of an all-star game, but it's not going to be statistics based. It's going to be based on the people you want to see in there. So make sure in Div C you tag me and you tag the person you want to nominate. I've already got like 12 to 15 names, so we're going to have a vote for that in about a week. And then after the conclusion of this NGS season, I'll be hosting that game, and I'll be able to pass out more details then. But make sure you guys spread that around. Everyone in Div C is open to it. Scheduling will obviously be problematic for at West and East Coast, but we'll get that all figured out.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm good.
Well, can I say goodbye now? Stay posed?
I guess.
All right. Good night, everybody.